a couple, local couple here, they're supposed to go on their destination wedding to Mexico next weekend. They give the travel agency money for not only them, but for their 47 guests. Now, this is supposed to happen next weekend.
Yeah.
The travel agency, not answering the phone, closed
No.
down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is going on? So this is Christine and Jeff. Where are you guys from?
Acushnet.
Acushnet.
So tell us what happened.
Basically, in January, we went to her because we were referred to by a friend, and because she's been in business for so many years, and we had such a large group because we were originally planning just to book it online ourselves, but
Sure.
because we had such a large group, we were like, maybe we can just get a group discount or something, and she was able to give it to us a little bit cheaper than other people, so we were like, okay, we're just going to go through her, and all she required was for us to put a $200 down payment to reserve everything, and then we had until the end of May to pay the whole thing in full,
Which you did?
which we did. Everything was paid, and everyone was paid. Like, she called and was like, you need to be paid by this date or I'm canceling everything. So everyone was paid for, and so then on.
So now you and 47 guests, everybody's paid for. How much are we talking about here?
$68,000.
Oh,
Whoa.
$68,000.
Yep.
And so the wedding is approaching. When did you start getting a feeling in your stomach that something's wrong here?
A couple of my aunts were like, we've been through travel agents before, and as soon as we give the last payment, we have our tickets in hand, like at least 2 weeks after the
Yeah,
last
all
payment.
the confirmation and everything.
And I was
sure.
like, well, I called her and she's like, well, it's a large group and they they save things like for the last minute for large groups and everything will be fine and don't worry about it. So I'm like, okay, like I trusted her because I trust everybody. So
yeah, but she didn't give you a reason not to trust
yeah,
her.
no, she
you know?
was very nice. Never
And-
seemed like she would do this at all.
And this travel agency, Terry's Travel in Dartmouth, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I think since '95. I was like 5 years old.
Wow. So you start getting this weird feeling that something might be wrong here,
Yeah, mhm.
and then what? I mean, when did you realize? Oh my goodness, this is really a major problem.
Last Saturday, my friend called me looking for her cell phone number because her mom went to Mexico, and she gets there. Like first, she had a problem with her from the beginning. When she went to book, she said, "I need your credit card number right away. You can't do payments because it's last minute." And so she gave her her credit card number right then and there. She charged her the whole thing. Then she overcharged her $500.
Oh man.
So she blamed the company that, like the vacation company, like FunJet, or I'm not sure which one she went through, but she blamed them for the overcharge. So she just kept going back and forth, like, oh, I'll give you the check next week. I'll give you the check tomorrow. And she waited till the day before they left to give them the check. And then the day before they left to give them the confirmation numbers and flight stuff. They get to Mexico, they get to their resort, and they have no rooms booked.
For all of the 47 guests, we were all booked at the resort.
Yeah.
Everybody had a room booked, but nothing was paid for.
Yeah, so basically we would have gotten there and no
then-
one would have a room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like the people that paid cash,
So where's the money?
she probably pocketed that money, and then the people who paid credit cards, she used their credit card to pay someone else's trip who left back in January.
So she used. So the people see the charge
They
on
see
the.
the charge, so it looks legit. Like, oh yeah, she charged Southwest, and everything's fine. But then when we
So they were really paying for somebody else's trip. Spend
yes.
like.
So when I go, she'll take my credit card number and pay for someone who went before me. And then when someone comes after me, she'll use their card or their money to pay for my trip.
So it seems like the house of cards just finally fell down here. There was,
because
Exactly, yeah.
there was too many people. There was 47 of us. She couldn't keep up.
So when is the last time that you had contact with her?
On Monday.
And tell me what happened Monday.
I went to her office on Monday morning as soon as I got out of work. And I basically told her, I said, listen, my friend was in her parking lot trying to get a hold of her so that she could fix their parents' stuff because they were stranded. They were going to get kicked out of the resort in Mexico. Like, they had nowhere to go. So she called them from a phone and she's like, oh, I'm not in my office, but I'll take care of it right now, when she was sitting upstairs and he was in the parking lot. And then, so I'm like, her car's right there. And he's like, well, she's telling me she's not in the office. I'm like, well, that's her car. So I went upstairs, and she's like, she had just hung up the phone with them, and she said, I'm taking care of someone right now. I'll be with you in a second. I'm like, I know who you're taking care of. She's like, oh, you know who they are? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And her face just like turned white, like she was just so nervous. She didn't know who they were. Like she didn't know that I knew them. So she obviously knew that she's screwed right then and there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I called the resort and they said nothing is booked. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or your file is right here. I'm working on it right now. I'm like, we're leaving in 10 days and you have nothing done. And she's like, no, everything is booked. I'm like, no, they said nothing's paid for. You didn't pay for anything. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt to get it done. I went back there at 3 in the afternoon and she still hadn't had it done. And she's like, just give me 2 days and I'll have it done. And I told her, no, tomorrow I'll be here at 12 and you need to have everything done. And then that's when I went there and the sign was on the door.
And the sign says what?
Family.
Family emergency.
And this morning, same thing. It's a family emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And her sign, her Terry's Travel sign is off of the thing.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So now what? What's going on? I mean, what are you gonna do?
We started, my friend started a GoFundMe so that we can try to get the people who paid cash to go, because the credit card people, they are able to get that refunded, but not until the 8th.
The date that we leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, man.
technically they did pay for a trip, but it wasn't for them.
But there's fraud.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
fraud. So they just have to
Absolutely.
investigate it a little bit and see that they did not go
So
on
the
the flight.
people who charge us to the credit card, they're gonna get taken care of at some point.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just might not be
Right,
soon
because some
enough.
people
Yeah.
paid with bank cards, so that's basically just like paying cash.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna take longer, and
Right.
so hopefully, like,
So some of these people pay with cash?
most of us did.
We did all.
We
They
did.
paid with
Yeah.
cash.
We paid with cash. My parents paid with cash. All my aunts.
The GoFundMe is not even. It's not even for us. It's
Yeah.
basically for our family members who can't pay a second time.
What, I mean, the cash, what's gonna happen there?
We'll probably never see it, but
If this is all true as you say it is, if this is as it appears to be, I mean, that would be jail time. I mean, that's
I hope so,
Yeah.
because we're not the only ones that
yeah,
she
no,
did this
there's
to.
another
There's other
wedding
couples
party.
and
Yeah. In September, I think September, there's another wedding party that was supposed to go, and she never paid any of
Have
her
the
stuff.
police been involved in this? Did you go to the police?
We
Yes.
did, yeah.
What did the police say?
They're opening an investigation. Everyone has to make formal complaints, and they can't finalize like the report until everything's done. But people keep coming forward about it because they're just realizing what's going on.
So if somebody's out there listening and they're saying, oh my goodness, this is happening to me right now, there are probably other people that this is happening to.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should they did you talk to one of the detectives of the Dartmouth Police?
Jeffrey did.
Yeah, we spoke to him.
This is Dartmouth Police Detective Costa, Kyle Costa?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're looking
Yeah.
into it already.
How about the Attorney General's office?
Yes. Yep.
Good.
Wow.
Good. So are you gonna get married next week?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Hopefully.
Oh, I promised her I was gonna marry her, so I have to do it.
Hey, dude, this is no way to get out of it. You can't get out of this. Just got this big steam cooking.
Yeah.
Christine Mello, Jeff Ferreira, both of Acushnet. Listen, best of luck with this whole thing.
Thank you.
Good luck with that GoFundMe. And,
Absolutely.
everyone just feels so bad for you. I mean, this is just, this is not what you need.
No, not a week before.
Not a week before your wedding, but hey, everything's gonna improve from here, right? Can't get any worse than this.
Right.
Hopefully.
Well, best of luck to you. I hope it all works out. And do we know where this woman is?
We don't know, no. We know that she did check herself into the hospital on Monday. It was in the Standard Times today that she checked herself into the hospital. But we don't know for what reason or...
I mean, it would be amazing if she's had this business in the community for 20 years.
Yes.
She lives in this community, works in this community. It would be hard to live in the community if she's done this to so many people.
She isn't by herself there. She has other people working with her. So
Yeah.
if she did have a family emergency, she could have passed the files on to.
And she just basically, like, when we all I went in the morning with my aunts and my cousin, my sister, and she just looked at us and shook her head. Like, she could have said something, like, or even when we initially went there, she should have said, you know, this lady's not good. You should come over to me, because we know someone who's been through Terry's Travel. That this is their 4th time there, and they always worked with the other woman in the office, and they never had an issue.
Well, everybody's pulling for you here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We had so many people reach out to tell your story, so
Thank
there's a
you.
lot of people that want to help you out for sure.
you.
Jeff Ferreira, Christine Mello, you're getting married next weekend, just don't know where yet.